So earlier, TV3 gathered that the Agricultural Development Bank is selling its plans to sell its head office for $10 million. Reports also gathered indicated that the decision for that amount was to pay a monthly rent of 1 million cedis for a new office at the headquarters at the Accra Financial Center, even though this information has been denied by the bank. We have Nana Ekia Brampa. She was at a press conference. She'll tell us more about what the bank is saying. Nana Ekia, good afternoon.
Hi, Bridget. Good afternoon.
All right. Well, what exactly is the bank saying now?
Well, we had the MD of ADB, Mr. Stephen Boji, addressing the press this morning, entering the afternoon, and I'm sure key issues viewers will be interested in is whether ADB House has been sold or not. Well, he stands to confirm that ADB House has not been sold. That is the main headquarters of ADB House. We understand that there was a bidding process that was in the dailies, and we had two high bidders, that is for $10 million, that was quoted yesterday as the price being sold. But according to the MD of the bank, the property has not been sold because transaction failed, and based on that, they have held on to the decision whether to sell or not, and management or board members of ADB will decide on that particular one regarding the fate of the building. And another issue that came up, Bridget, had to do with the renting space where they are now. That is the new building, the AFC building, that is the Africa Financial Center for the ADB. Yes, that is one key issue that has been raised. With the issue of having to rent the place for 1 million Ghana cedis a month, well, he also debunked that notion, explaining further that the rent per square meter, that is the arrangements they have here at AFC, the rent per square meter is at $37. He refused to quote that in cedi when we raised questions to that because the dollar continues to change on the commodity, that is the stock market as well as the forex market. But in terms of how much they have paid so far, he says in the past 6 months or in the last 6 months, they have paid 5.6 million Ghana cedis for rent alone for the new building AFC, where we are having that press meeting now. So lots of issues came up, and with that rent of $37, it covers fitting, furniture, partition, as well as tiling. So that is the sum for total 6 months, 5.6. I'll go over that again, 5.6 million cedis for the past 6 months. And we calculate it in 6 months, not monthly, as was suggested in the media yesterday, Bridget.
All right. Did they talk about floating their shares? Because the workers also said that the management should hold on until the unrecovered loans have been retrieved. And that could save the company. Did they raise that as well?
That issue was raised precisely, giving us updates on IPO so far. The MD stated categorically that there has been an approval granted, but so far no share has been issued on the stock market. We've had the approval, and they denied coming out with shares, even though they are still intending to list some 200 million shares. We understand that it is still in the evaluation process, and they will inform the media as and when they are ready to list on the shares. Even though this is a situation, well, the MD said he received a letter from the Member of Finance Ministry in Parliament, Afino Martin, and reacting to that particular letter he received, he believed that he was the wrong person to receive that letter, and he insisted that the Member of Parliament, that is the Committee on Finance, should resend that letter to the Minister of Finance, since he is in charge of affairs of the ADB. And then regarding, I'm sure you would remember, regarding the issue of some unrecovered loans, which was also raised by staff of ADB, which was listed as 600 million cedis unrecovered loans. Well, he also denied that particular part, stating categorically once again that the amount of unrecovered loan as at 2014 stood at 268 million cedis out of a loan book of 1.28 billion. That is 268 million cedis out of a loan book of 1.28 billion cedis. Bridget.
Was it Ghana Stock Exchange?
I didn't get that.
The approval. You said they have the approval. By who?
They have approval from the GSE, that is the Ghana Stock Exchange. They are still, they had consultations with stakeholders, with associations, with Parliament, as well as the Ghana Stock Exchange and other groups. They have granted the approval, but they are still in an evaluation process in terms of listing on the stock market. That is the latest on the IPO process.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for joining us, Nana Ekia Abrampa there.